Hey everyone, welcome back to the Parking Lot Rebels. I am John talking about the news and giving you our political commentary. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please like or subscribe or hit us in the comments section. So on Monday, January 4th, the judge in the Julian Assange case in London came to a decision that Assange would not be extradited to the United States because he was a suicide risk within the U.S. prison system. So this was not really the win for free speech that many of the Julian Assange supporters thought it would be or hoped that it would be. It was more about his mental health and not really being fit to survive the U.S. prison system, which is probably more of an indictment on the U.S. prison system than anything else. So you would be forgiven if you're not up to date with what's going on with Julian Assange. Assange has been in an intellectual war with the United States government since he broke onto the scene in 2010 when his website WikiLeaks released video of the U.S. military gunning down Iraqi civilians. Now, it was a case of mistaken identity, but it was the killing of unarmed combatants, of which nobody in the U.S. military took any responsibility for. So Assange did win Time Person of the Year for that episode, but he also made a very big enemy in terms of the United States government. Since becoming politically relevant in 2010, Assange's fortunes have changed. In December of that same year, he was charged in Sweden with some sexual misconduct cases. He was deemed a rapist in the news as much as possible, but the case actually revolves more around the misuse of a condom and a lack of consent regarding that. So it was not a violent criminal case. However, it's still a criminal case that Assange has avoided as much as he could. So his detractors do have some teeth with that argument there. Despite the criminal charges in Sweden, Assange has remained fairly popular in the anti-war movement. He would go on to release emails from the Syrian government as well as the Russian government, exposing a lot of corruption and violence in both of those institutions. However, Assange's standing in the political community would almost be flipped on its head with his involvement in the 2016 release of emails from the Democratic National Committee as well as the Hillary Clinton campaign. It would be revealed that the DNC actually went to great lengths to kneecap the Bernie Sanders campaign and give Hillary Clinton a fairly large advantage in terms of their early nominations. This would lead to the resignation of a few high-ranking officials within the DNC, and in the end, possibly costing Hillary Clinton the election to Donald Trump. Since then, Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign have gone to great lengths to smear Assange as some type of Russian asset working for Putin and looking to disrupt American interests.
But you are very clearly quoting from WikiLeaks, and what's really important about WikiLeaks is that the Russian government has engaged in espionage against Americans. They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private people, of institutions. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet.
So like I was saying already, there is zero evidence for anything that Hillary Clinton is supposing there. It is all speculation. There have been several intelligence officials that have come out and claimed these things, saying they have proof, but nothing has ever been brought forward to connect WikiLeaks or Assange to the Russian government at all. And so since the 2016 election, the Democrats have definitely turned on Julian Assange for his hand in costing Hillary Clinton the election. In fact, here is NBC pundit Chuck Todd interviewing Assange in 2016, attempting to put him on the spot.
Are you concerned that when if a foreign government uses your entity, that you have now seen WikiLeaks get weaponized?
James Clapper on Friday, the head of U.S. intelligence, the DNI, said there's been a lot of hyperventilation in the press, and that it was impossible even to ascribe motive at this stage, let alone who it is. I'll give the exact quote. We don't know enough to ascribe motivation regardless of who it might have been. But what I can say categorically is that we have published proof that the election campaign of Bernie Sanders was sabotaged in a corrupt manner by Debbie Wasserman Schultz and others within the DNC. We can say that categorically. We have published.
And what Assange is saying is 100% accurate. WikiLeaks has never had to redact a single article, and they've never lost a court case regarding things they've published. So everything they've done has been with complete consistency and credibility, even if you want to question their motivations in doing so. And what makes the Assange case even more complicated for us to follow is the inverse reaction from Republicans. Since the 2016 election, he's grown as a symbol of the free speech spirit on the right. In fact, here's Tucker Carlson explaining why he's sympathetic towards the Assange case.
If you watched a lot of the coverage of this story today on television, you likely came away with the understanding that Julian Assange is some kind of Russian spy who's in trouble tonight because he stole classified documents from the U.S. government. That is not true. It's factually incorrect. Saying so is not a defense of Assange. We're not here to promote him or excuse any number of things he said over the years that we disagree with quite a lot. But just so it's clear, whatever his sins, Assange did not steal documents from the United States government. He did not hack the DNC servers. He didn't break into John Podesta's Gmail account. There is no proof that he is working for the Russian government or ever has worked for the Russian government. Assange has never been charged with any of that and wasn't today, no matter what they tell you.
So what's clear to me is that Assange represents an opposition to authority. When he came onto the scene in 2008 and 2010, opposing the war in the Middle East, and he was exposing the crimes of George W. Bush and his administration, it was liberals on the left who really sided with him and found meaning in his cause. Push forward to 2016 when he exposes the corruption of Hillary Clinton's presidential nomination and her campaign, the roles are reversed. And now Republicans are happy that he had a hand in winning Donald Trump the election and costing it for Hillary Clinton. So it's really a matter of principle. You have to ask yourself, if citizens have a right to question their government, then you need to be consistent in whether or not you support Julian Assange. If you happen to be a Democrat, you can't be happy when he's exposing the crimes of George W. Bush, but then lament when he's exposing the crimes of Hillary Clinton. They're the same thing. I also don't know how much of this is hypocrisy and how much of this is just a new generation becoming politically involved. Myself, for sure, I wasn't really aware of what was going on with Julian Assange when he broke onto the scene in 2008 with WikiLeaks. And so I had heard the name, but I wasn't really aware of what he'd done. And so as this next generation becomes more politically involved, we're going to see things in a different light. I think younger Republicans and younger conservatives are all going to be a little more anti-war in their stances and a little more likely to side with Julian Assange. Personally, I do side with Julian Assange. I'm not quite sure where all the outrage comes from in terms of him exposing cover-ups and exposing corruption. I'm not sure when we started accusing the whistleblowers of the crimes and not the actual criminals. If I steal a car and run amok on the highway and hurt people, you're not going to blame the person who called 911. You're going to blame the person who stole the car and caused the crime. So I'm glad Julian Assange was not extradited to the United States. I'm a little disappointed that his case didn't come to more of a conclusion, but I'll take what I can get for now. Anyways, I'm John with the Parking Lot Rebels. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you got to the end of this video, because clearly you liked it. And if you have any thoughts on Julian Assange, if you think I'm wrong, hit the comment section. Let's have a conversation. I'll see you next time.